Yo, what's going on with y'all? It's your boy NeohXO bringing y'all a Black Clover chapter 297 review. Before we get too deep into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. I will be doing a face reveal at 5,000 subscribers. Make sure to leave a like on the video. That really helps us out in the algorithm, push Black Clover forward. Comment, and I'm gonna see y'all in the comments. Now, getting right into this chapter, Noelle is on the color page, and I think that's really cool because Noelle really has shown out within these last couple of chapters. Now, something I want to say about the color page is these, kind of serve to show us what colors their forms are and stuff like that. So something I want to point out is it seems like her halo is green, and it seems like her wings have like a greenish tint to them as well, similar to Yuno actually. So this might be something that's common with spirits, or maybe it's just a coincidence, or maybe the colors change later on, who knows. But I just wanted to point that out. Really cool color page. That's all I had to point out from the color page. Now, moving on to the actual chapter, Vonica, as we know in last chapter, got hit right in her body with the sword, and she coughs off blood in the beginning of this chapter and pretty much says, "You really are the best, Noelle." Because the thing I like about Vonica is she really sticks to her character, and that is just that of a battle crazed warrior. So the only thing she really cares about is her own interest, as Noelle says later in this chapter, and her interests are basically just fighting strong opponents. So the fact that she's actually losing to Noelle, she actually enjoys that, because that kind of pushes her to get stronger. It's kind of like a rival mentality, kind of like with Yuno and Asta. Whenever Yuno passes up Asta, Asta doesn't get mad. He just says that, okay, I'm gonna pass you up now. And it seems like Vonica was wanting a similar relationship with Noelle, but unfortunately for Vonica, that's not going to happen. And I kind of don't feel really that sorry for her, considering what she's done to our beloved characters. So Noelle just pretty much continues to obliterate Vonica in this chapter. We saw last chapter that Vonica pretty much stood no chance, and in this chapter it's just a continuation of that, and it just solidifies even more that Noelle is on a completely different level than Vonica, and Vonica is just not going to be able to defeat Noelle. It's just not possible because Vonica is not strong enough. So Noelle just continues to just one-sidedly beat Vonica. But, Vonica kind of enjoys it because she's a little sadistic and just crazy. She's a crazy woman. And I really like Noelle standing up for Laura Petrica and her mother. She actually got her revenge in a way, because Megicula is still a problem. But for the most part, Vonica was complicit in, those acts of violence and those acts of evil. So Noelle pretty much extinguished the evil from Vonica, and Vonica is pretty much no more at this point. She's no longer a threat, and I feel really happy for Noelle because she eliminated a mega threat. Vonica was capable of destroying nations. You guys have to remember that. And Noelle, one of our favorite characters, finally took her down and made her a non-threat, which is crazy because she was a huge threat. So I just want to bring attention to that right there, because Vonica is finally taken care of. She was a villain for a while now. So I think it's time that they actually did go ahead and introduce Megicula, because Vonica kind of served her purpose. There's not much more she could have done, in my opinion, as a villain. She seems like she's just misguided, honestly, in my opinion, because she goes on to say some things that don't totally make sense. Like, she goes on and says she's feeling good, and she's like, what is this feeling? Could it possibly be friendship? And Noelle has this look on her face like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, are you serious right now? Friendship? Why would I be friends with you after you killed all those people, after you put us through all of that violence and mayhem? She's like, never. She's like, she's not even playing along with it. However, Vonica, on the other hand, is saying things like, let's keep on competing to see who's going to become the strongest. Kind of like Yuno and Asta. That's why I made that comparison earlier. Vonica pretty much wants to be Noelle's rival. And to be honest, I think that would be a good rivalry. But unfortunately for Vonica, things are not going to be going her way. Because later on in this chapter, Noelle actually attempts to kill Vonica. And what ends up happening is that kind of triggers Megicula to come out, because Megicula starts to flow out of Vanica's eye. Now we know Vanica's eye had been possessed by Megicula, or her one half of her body has been pretty much possessed by Megicula for a while now. We know that, you know, once she uses that 50%, like half of her body is taken over by Megicula, and it just stems from the eye. So Megicula ends up flowing out of her eye, and we hear Megicula speak. Now, this is what Megicula has to say. She says there's a reason that she hasn't left Vanica for all of this time, and not even Lucifero is aware of this. So this is perhaps signifying a betrayal. However, it might just be something she just didn't want to tell Lucifero because she didn't want to get told no, because it seems like she's actually going to manifest in the real world, and Lucifero's still stuck in the underworld. So that kind of explains why after Vanica's being defeated, Megicula comes out, but after Dante got defeated, Lucifero didn't come out. So she's basically saying that she has kind of a ritual that she needs the same sex mages, so basically all female or all male mages, and she says that she needs their souls. So that's pretty dark, but she is a devil, so it's to be expected. And her curse power is just on a completely different level now that she's beginning to manifest into the real world. So now that she's materialized into the real world, I kind of want to take a couple seconds to talk about her form. A lot of people on Twitter pretty much were enjoying her form. I really like it as well. I think it looks really good. I think it's one of the better devil designs, honestly. And you could probably presume this is not even her final form. I feel like she would probably have more forms, but that's just me speculating. But as of right now, this form right here, it kind of looks like a lolly, not gonna lie. To me, Tabata did a good job of separating her design from the other devil's designs. She's actually a girl, or she appears to be a girl, and that makes sense because of the ritual. You know, she kind of had to take 3 girls' souls, so it really makes sense right there. But overall, her design is really cool, and I really, really like it. But anyways, let me move on from the design and actually get back into the story. So, Noelle is kind of terrified looking at this because, you know, it's a devil that's materializing. Everyone gets scared for a second. Everyone gets a little shook once a devil appears. Just think back whenever Zagreus appears. These beings are on a completely different level. They're not even human. So you can be one of the strongest humans, but that won't really compare to one of the strongest devils. You know what I mean? Considering she was a devil, it was kind of surprising to see that she had some sympathy for Vanica, because as far as Libe states, none of the devils really care, and they all just torture each other and bully each other anyways. So to see that Megicula has some sympathy for Vanica, or perhaps she was just being sarcastic, but let's just assume that she actually did. I think it's pretty cool to have them have some type of emotions, because I don't want them to just be completely evil with no other characteristic, because then that would just make them all exactly alike. That would make Zagreus the same as Lilith, the same as Nama, the same as Lucifero, the same as Megicula. And they need some kind of little differences to separate them, even though they're devils, you know? Asta kind of pointed this out. He's like, even though somebody is a devil, doesn't mean they have to just be pure evil. But that's just the notion that most people think, that the devils are just pure evil. And for the most part, they're pretty evil, not gonna lie. But the reason that Megicula actually is going to kill Vanica is because she just needs to be able to fully manifest. So maybe if she didn't need to, she might have spared Vanica. That's what I like to believe, in my opinion. So what ends up happening next, you guys will not believe this. Laura Petrica actually starts to grow horns, and she starts to grow devil wings. And it looks like the curse is what's causing this. However, this is still early, and it's kind of the last panel, so we don't have much information, but we don't really know what's going on with Laura Petrica, but it seems like she's turning into a devil. And it's just crazy to see, because Laura Petrica is such a kind soul, and she's getting taken over by evil. Now, Gaja is not liking this. He is not liking Laura Petrica getting taken over by this wig and growing horns and devil wings. It seems like she's just getting taken over by Megicula. Now, if I had to go on and guess, I would probably say this is part of Megicula's magic, and she's just going to use Laura Petrica as a puppet. And she also needs Laura Petrica's soul to complete her ritual to fully be in this world. So if she's not able to get the soul she might not be able to fully come into the world, and that might be what helps the characters on our side defeat her, because she's not at her full power. So they kind of got to stop her before that happens, you know, kind of like the gate of the underworld. They gotta stop it before it completes, because the devils at the bottom are just insanely powerful, and they probably will have a very tough time defeating those devils right there. So in my opinion, Laura Petrica is probably a puppet to Megicula right now, and it seems like that's what Megicula's power is, you know, because she has a curse on her. So maybe the curse is like controlling the other person. So that's why she looks like that, and she just looks like more like a devil because she's getting more devil power flowing into her from Megicula. It's really crazy to see. This story right here is getting dark, and I'm liking it. I'm really liking it a lot. Yuki Tabata is doing an amazing job, and I really like that he kind of did a smooth transition over to the next villain, because Vonica was a villain for a while. I'm not gonna lie, she was a villain for a while, and now that she's defeated, it kind of smoothly transitioned right into the next villain, which is Megicula. Really cool. And if you ask me, in my opinion, this kind of reminds me of Zaggart a little bit, obviously because they're both devils, but Zaggart also kind of, you know, took Patri and made Patri go on his side for a little while. It's kind of like similar, and Megicula seems like she's gonna make Laura Petrica go on her side for a little while, you know, unwillingly of course, but nonetheless still helping Megicula. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that video, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel. We're aiming for 5,000 subscribers. Leave a like on the video, that really helps us in the algorithm. Comment, I'm gonna be commenting back to everybody. And with that being said, it's been your boy NeohXO, and I'm out.